Hey guys, this is Phase Out. I wanted to bring you guys my review of my 2007 Yamaha FZ6. I got this about June this year. I came from a Aprilia Falco, which is a V-twin, heavy V-twin. Great bike, still have it. It's just in storage. And I wanted to try something a little different. Never had an inline four, so I just thought I'd try something a little different. Don't mind the background, we're moving, so that's why you see all that garbage back there. Now, if you guys have never ridden an inline four, like I have had, they are a different beast compared to V-twins or even twins. A lot of top end, especially these type of Yamahas, because they're based off the R6S, which I believe is a Thundercat, if I remember correctly. So the only thing they've done is Yamaha took the engine and they replaced the timing, the cams, and they also changed the timing for the fuel injection. So a brand new map, in other words, for the ECU. Making it still have a lot of top end power for this. I think this sits at 98 wheel horsepower or brake horsepower, I'm sorry. Mind you, that can probably fluctuate, but I mean, that's enough to get you in trouble. So I probably topped out about 140 on this thing, and I'm 6'1" and about 238. So I do bodybuilding for a hobby. So this isn't a bike that in which I'm light to ride on. It's just, for the most part, it is built for, not for super top end speed. It's mainly built for cruising. Yeah, but you know, in all honesty, who really does that? You're at a motorcycle, you want to feel that power every once in a while, right? And this definitely gives it to you. Now, the things I've done to it, I've added a eBay exhaust. This exhaust is amazing. It cost me 180 bucks, and it is on par with my my other Leos that I had that were on there that were all beat up. Not a Leos, but they look like it. They're pretty much equal and they sound amazing. And I'll show you guys what they sound like here in a moment. They have new tires on it. I got them, I think they're Shinkos. Yeah, Shinko Ravens. Everybody talks crap about them, but I actually think they're pretty good tires. And I had no problem with them, and I've ridden them all summer. All season, actually. I started in June, so yeah, all summer. Has a new Puig screen on it. I got that just recently to help with the buffeting on my head. I painted those from silver to chrome black, I believe they're called, because to match the rest of the physique of the bike. I got rid of the rear sets because nobody rides with me except my son every once in a while. I got a what do you call it? Sorry if I figure out of the way. I got a new fender eliminator because the one that was on there was made of plastic and garbage. And the person who set it up for me did not put the wiring right for the lights, so I had no license plate light, which I got pulled over a couple times for that. So thank God I got that done. If you guys ever get this bike or have this bike, I would suggest one thing for sure. Is if you haven't changed the original fork oil on this, the fork oil in here is it's a 5-weight. So after reading a lot of reviews through 600riders.com, 15-weight is a much better balance between performance and comfort. And I completely changed the whole riding style for me on this bike. 100% changed everything. I was so, like, sometimes I feel like I was gonna fly over the top of it because the brakes when you braked on the front brake, the front suspension would just buck downwards, and it was terrible. So when I switched it over to a 15-weight, I'm sorry, it actually changed it quite a bit. Not a lot, you know, springs will definitely help, which I'm gonna do next season, but it definitely brought less spongy to the situation. What can I say about the bike though? I mean, all in all, this is a beautiful bike. If you guys have never had an R6 or ridden an R6, the R6 are built for speed. Now the engine that this is based off of, it was another sports touring bike, I believe. I can't remember what it was. It was a Thundercat, so it still had that sporty fairing look, but I believe it had a higher height handlebar. Or not handlebar, what do they call them? Clip-ons. So they still had high clip-ons, so you're still sitting a little upright. But for the most part, you were riding a super sport with a pretty high engine, a pretty powerful engine. This is about 98 brake horsepower, which you can feel it. Now, if you've never ridden an inline four, which before this bike I had never, I was used to V-twins where all the power is right at the bottom. This, on the other hand, took that to another level. This redline's at 14,000 RPM. Okay, now I've never pushed it to that far because I like my bikes and I want them to last as long as possible. But I say around 8 to 12, you feel that kick. I think 10,000 is where the full torque kicks in, and then 12,000 is where the full horsepower kick in. So the sweet spot I found is around 1150, 11,500. So, and you can feel it. I've topped out about 11 or about 140 miles an hour on this thing, and I'm not a small guy, so I'm 6'2" and about 230, 235, and I bodybuild. So me getting that, I'm sure if I bucked down a little weight, I'd probably push this to about at least 150. Mind you, I will let you know, there's a couple caveats to this. The one thing is the speedometer is off because this goes based off of the speedometer that's on the actual transmission or the speed sensor compared to, let's say, being on the actual rotor. So that the actual speedometer is about between 3 to 5% off. So I did my math and I figured out throughout writing it and also GPS reading, I was doing about 141 miles an hour. Okay. Now, this is also a great cruising bike. I don't know. I always hear these really crazy reviews, especially I've had a few people that I've watched say that there's no bottom end, blah, 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 blah. No, I feel like if you're looking for a specific style of bike that's, riding for in-city, this definitely has it there. You're not going to get stranded or tip over because there's not enough power at the bottom. I mean, does this bike want to scream at, let's say 12,000 RPM? Absolutely. But I will tell you right now, from a new rider from an inline four, this bike is the great beginner to intermediate style bike. Give me just a second. There we go. A great intermediate to beginner style bike, 100%. I even know people who take these specific style right here and actually use them on track. Not the greatest, they're not the greatest on it because they don't make rear sets for this thing. But according to people I've read in forums, they've had no problems on it, So I think it's, I've done it once on a track ride, and then the only thing I was a little weary about was it doesn't like to dip into the corners as much as my RSV4 does. But the RSV4 is built specifically, primarily for track. So this is mainly for touring. And I actually took this out on a camping trip about 3 months ago, and it was amazing. I stacked my giddy bags in the back, and I was gone for about a day, 2.5 days, and it didn't strand me anywhere. I even used the charger I put on it to charge my phone and charge my my lantern that I had, and it worked great. And then next morning I popped up and we were good to go. I get about 160 miles to the tank before empty kicks on, and then another about 35 miles after that. So you're looking close to about 200 miles to a tank fully, which for a 5-gallon tank and a guy that weighs as much as I do is actually pretty damn good. My Aprilia Falco was getting about 118, 120. So this gives me a whole 70, 80 extra miles. I'm okay with that. So taking it around, sorry, talking so much. I have a Puig screen. If you guys haven't changed your coolant, make sure you do that. The coolant that's in there is brown and disgusting, and changing it actually changed the whole cooling. For the fan kicking on, it actually completely almost removed it after I replaced the old coolant out of there. Okay, I got some eBay exhaust. I got, like I said, I got the fender eliminator. New chain, new sprocket. I got the FZ1 bar. Gives me more of a lean over instead of that weird ass sweep that Yamaha added to these things. And then I also got a R6 throttle tube to lessen the amount of turn I have on my throttle, which helps out a lot with your wrist. What can I say though about it? To be honest, if you guys are looking for a bike that's good for beginner or intermediate riding, I 100% recommend this. This isn't just specific to beginner riding. It's not. I don't care what anybody else says. This isn't. This is a great bike for all levels, 100%. It has really good wind protection for the most part. I've ridden in the rain. I've ridden in heavy wind like it is today. I'm not going to ride in the snow because it's not built for that. And it's very reliable, 100% reliable. As long as you maintain it and as long as you do what you got to do to make sure it runs the way, it will give you and get you anywhere. It'll give you 100% of its effort and get you anywhere. So, and they're cheap. They're about I think I got this one with 6,000 miles on it, and I got it for $3,000. 6,000 miles for $3,000. That is a hell of a deal. I paid that same amount of money, $3,500 for my Aprilia Falco, which had 28,000 miles on it. So you can see the difference there. All in all, guys, and this may not be a different review in the respect that I was hoping for, but this is a great bike. If you guys are looking for a good motorcycle that's reliable and can be a lot of fun and keep up with the pace of, let's say, an R6, maybe a ZX6R. I've kept up with a CBR. I mean, they're great. I've kept up with most Harleys, if not all Harleys. These are great bikes. They're very, very comfortable. This seat's, woof, I'm getting a Corbin seat, but this even the stock seat's amazing. All in all, guys, I 100% recommend it. I wanted to go ahead and turn it on so you guys can get a note of what the exhaust sounds like. Yeah, this is an eBay exhaust. Right now, this season I bought it with about $59.95 on mileage, and right now I am running it with just over 10, I believe. Let's see, select. Yeah, I'm at 10,372. So I've just put a little bit over 6,000 miles, I think, roughly, maybe 5,000 miles. But anyways, I digress. Here's what the eBay exhaust without the baffle sound like. So those are eBay exhaust pipes too. So I'm just saying those sound as good as the Leos that were on it. But yeah, that's my review, guys. Again, it's pretty short and sweet. Any questions you guys have, let me know. I know I've done pretty much everything in terms of maintenance on this. New battery, change the spark plugs, the coolant. I would 100% recommend doing that. I did notice, and I have found that the original clutch plates that Yamaha put in these are really good, but first gear plate tends to wear out pretty quickly. At least according to what I've read. And when I pulled my clutch plates out, that first gear contact pads were completely burnt out, and that was before I got it. So, and the guy that I owned this before me, the lady, they were pretty old for the most part. So maybe they did it, they didn't know what they were doing, but I would always suggest completely replacing the clutch plates if sooner than they anticipated. Also your what do you call it? Your spark plugs. Definitely make sure you check those. They're pretty much a pain in the butt, but you can actually get them off without taking off the radiator. I've done it, and it adds a little more time to your job, but it's not that hard, to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, you guys have any questions about it, or any recommendations for the bike? I'd love to hear about it. I 100% think this is probably one of the best bikes that I've ever had, and I did find out something pretty cool. The actual brakes are based off Brembo brakes, and the only that makes them different is the fact that the big silver star screws there are actually not blue, and they're silver. So I guess that's the distinguishing feature, since the R6S has them blue. So there's that. I thought that was pretty cool. Sorry, that was kind of off topic. But yeah, I can tell you right now, I'm 100% believe that this is going to be my forever bike. I have an RSV4, I have an Aprilia Falco, I had my R3, and I think my brother still has my ZX6R. And out of all those, I still prefer to ride this one in most places. So if you guys have any recommendations, anything that I can do better on the channel, I'm not looking to make a ton of subscribers. So if you guys subscribe, go for it. If you guys don't, it is what it is. I just kind of want to give my experience about this bike. It's fast, it's comfy, and it will get you in places where you need to get going and still keep up with the best of them. All right. Thanks again for watching, guys. I appreciate you guys. Bye.